Oh, me, it's just some people.
All right, we're recording.
Do
Is
you
it
have
your
something in your inventory?
Yeah,
avatar on G Plus?
yeah, I do. I don't know what's.
Maybe it's too big. Contact
Pause.
Google.
Okay.
You got it, bro. We can't see you.
Does everyone see the chat window on the side?
Yes.
Go ahead and type your forum name on there so I can put who's in the call or the playback.
Okay. You guys boycotting Nike with me?
And I've been rocking Vans since I graduated high school,
What
dog.
Nike do?
They gave 30% off to law enforcement officers.
That's
Cops.
Really?
That's not a
Really?
boycottable offense.
No, man, that's boycottable.
That
Yo.
sounds boycottable.
I already burned a pair. I had a pair of LeBron 8s, no 9s.
You lost a
The
blind
first year
LeBron
he
anyway.
went to Miami. I already burned it. I burned a pair. There's a thread in the root. Go check it out when y'all get. We'll get
I fuck with it. I never even had a pair of Nikes in my whole life.
Oh, see, you good. See, it ain't even. See, my point is, it ain't even hard not to buy Nikes. You know what I'm saying? But these guys acting like they can't buy Nikes. It's like they can't go to church on Sunday. Not that they go to church on Sunday. You know what I'm
I
saying?
go to church.
It's already ingrained in the culture. It's pitiful that it is, but it's folks is lost. But I'm doing my part. Coli militants. Rock out.
What was the question? Cali militants or Cali economists?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I
Cali
want to hear you
coons?
Coli economist tonight.
And it's nothing worse than the Cali militant economists, man.
Nothing's worse than the militants that got white wives at home. That shit's hilarious.
You mad at them that common?
Hey, they fighting the fight all the way, man.
Nah, man. That really what they're doing. They're helping the cause, man. You guys, you
It's
can't
that
look down.
internal fight, man.
Nah, yeah, cause no, you fuck the white girl. That she has a mixed baby, a little bit. He's kind of black. Then the next generation get blacker, little by little, man.
Yeah.
Infiltration.
It sounds like some of you guys haven't seen the big picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yo, who's gonna start this money train up, man?
I was just reading that thread about what's his name, Ben Carson, and how he couldn't explain his tax plan. That was disappointing, man. He's supposed to be the smart one, the doctor.
I'm not sure about the smart one, but he's a doctor.
And I mean, the article said that it was like 4 or 5 of the Republicans they're in favor of some kind of regressive tax or flat tax. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna tax the poor people more who need the money the most.
They're gonna tax their own base, man. Most Republican voters are pretty average people.
They're gonna cheer for that though, because they're gonna be like, you know what? Some year I'm gonna get in that that 75%, and
God Emperor, can you type your forum name on this in the chat, please?
Says he left.
God's having some.
Oh, he was trying to get his Avi up.
Yeah, it looks like he
Yeah,
got
I've
some.
been moving around.
Oh snap, Twism. Oh shit.
Yeah, you don't know what's me?
Why did I get that in my phone and not in the chat?
Yeah, I got it on my phone too.
Whose world is this?
All right, cool. Forums up there.
You guys aren't down with Ben Carson, man? He's been killing it on
Yo, Ben
on the
Carson.
TV.
I think someone had a comment in that thread that was perfect. Like he's Sarah Palin status because he's a man. He's just not getting all the flack.
Nah, because I mean, Sarah Palin really had no clue about anything. I mean, she couldn't even tell you what book she's reading. I mean, I figure, I mean, I feel like Ben Carson's the kind of guy. He could probably have a conversation. He could probably sound smart, but then when you question him about what he's thinking, maybe then that's where you see the lack of preparation or something. But Sarah was never on that level, man.
Yeah, but I don't know, when Carson talks, I mean, he's a guy who just likes to string words together and really doesn't know what he's saying. I mean, it's obvious.
That whole Republican side, man, it's weak, man. I mean, the only ones that are worth anything are Rubio and Jeb.
Well, Jeb's pretty much thrown himself in the bushes the last 2 days.
Yeah, Jeb is done.
You know, Jeb said he was going to authorize the Iraq. He'd authorize the Iraq war, even knowing what we know now. Like that's crazy. That's at odds with like.
Isn't that kind of what I mean? But
he wouldn't lose my vote.
Say though, I mean, come on. I'm not actually even surprised that he said that.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't lose my vote for saying that if I were inclined to vote for him.
But I mean, even his own party doesn't take that line anymore.
Yeah, but he's a man that stands up.
I mean,
I mean, let's just say it. I mean, call it how it is. He's a Bush.
I mean, he's not even towing the line at this point. He's just like, I mean, that's at odds with reality. You know? Like, we can say, yeah, that's his brother, but he doesn't want to offend his brother, but, I mean, everything points to Iraq being a complete clusterfuck, so...
Is that how the question was phrased, though? Would he still vote for, or would he have voted for it knowing what we know now?
Yes, I think, yeah, that's exactly how it was phrased.
No, he came out. There's another story. He claimed that he misunderstood the question. That's his latest.
Somebody hacked his Twitter.
Of course. I mean, what else can you say at that point?
I missed it. That's a classic. That's a classic one right there.
Yo, so he said he would bomb them all over again. That's what he was saying. That's what he said.
Even in 2015, knowing everything that's happened since then and seeing everything that's happened since then, he said, "Yup." That's wild.
Yo, but at the point on Ben, I had finally watched that prayer breakfast video that he was like killing Obama in.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good speech.
Did you guys see what I posted in the same thread about Jeb again? Some girl completely railed him at some rally in Nevada today or yesterday. She like went through his throat. She's like, here's what she says. You know, she cornered him at a like town hall meeting, and she's like, you know, your brother created ISIS. And he just kept trying to back off of it, and then she just like completely called him out, and then he just was like, I respectfully disagree. And then he blamed the Iraq troops.
Maybe. I mean, I don't support calling Jeb out for something his brother did. I mean, that's.
But if he's going to say at the same time that he would have done the same thing that happened now and then blame ISIS on Obama and everybody else under the sun, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's running on his name, so yes, the good and the bad that comes with that.
I mean, especially if he wants to take the foreign policy stance that he's some expert and that he knows the Middle East and that he knows that Iraq was the right choice in 2001 and it would be the right choice in 2015. I think that's pretty damning.
It's still too early, man. I mean, I'm going to reserve my judgment on all these guys, to be honest, until I mean, first they're all declared, and then second until they actually say what they're about. Because I mean, most of these guys now, they're just kind of, you know, saying applause lines. No one's really come out with anything concrete about what they stand for. I mean, the only reason we know what Hillary stands for is because she's been running for 25 years.
Well, what does she stand? What does she stand for? I don't know.
She stands for politics as usual, man. She stands for everything Bill stands for. But I'm not against that either. It's whatever.
Bill said it was all his fault that all these black Americans are incarcerated. It was partially his fault. So why won't he just go let him out then if it was his fault?
You can't pardon them. You can't pardon when you're not the president. Why can't the black president let him out?
Mm.
Well, he is sort of. I mean, he's done. Obama has done a couple of reforms.
He's letting them out, sort of. That's
One thing that did happen, Obama did was he got him and Holder got rid of minimum mandatories for drugs. I think federal level. A lot of states followed suit.
I mean, there are some people getting out of jail because of those reforms. It's not like a flood of people, but I mean, there are people getting out.
Do you think that's a bad thing?
No, I think it's good.
They're letting the criminals out. Run for the hills. Run for the hills.
oh shit.
The unfortunate thing is that with all this free trade talk, those criminals won't be able to get jobs.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you guys. Does no one really know anything about this trade agreement, which will be the biggest trade agreement in history if it goes through?
Well, it's
Break
not
it
going to go
down
through.
for us, man. Break it down for us.
No, because it's not even worth talking about then if no one else knows anything about it.
Well, there's two of them. There's one for Europe and there's one for Asia.
Yeah, the Asian one specifically is the one I was talking about.
I mean, I know a little bit about the political drama that's going on. But the thing is that we don't know what's in it because, I mean, it's not there for us to see it. I mean, no one can read it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think most of the Senate can't even see it.
It's that Obamacare. It's that Obamacare all over again.
Not even, man, because Obamacare.
You gotta pass it to know what's in it, man. You gotta pass the bill to know what's in it.
But they got copies of it. They were able to read it like this. You can't even debate it on the floor. It's
The language is sufficiently vague. Yes.
No, that's not even the case. It's not even available to the public. First of all, second, I don't even think most of the Senate has read it. That's why they shot it down today.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's foreign policy.
No, to be honest, I support it. I mean, I think free trade is good. So, I mean, I don't know the details, but as a general rule, free trade is good. So I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. So.
Because devil is in the details.
Can somebody just give the broad strokes of what it is?
It's a free trade.
From what I understand, it's just pretty much an agreement with like 12 Asian countries not named China, including Japan and the Philippines. All those people, they're gonna, they're gonna agree to buy a certain number of goods, stuff like that. And the Democrats that voted no on that, they wanted more requisites. They wanted it to be that they can manipulate their currency over there so that their exports will be cheaper to import. They wanted to set up something so that it wouldn't cost that, like, or for the job that it did cost in the U.S., some kind of other program where they can employ them doing something else type of stuff. They wanted to be able to read the bill and argue it, just stuff like that. So they shot it down because it just wasn't transparent enough.
Yeah, there's some negative side effects, but it's like the one with Mexico and Canada. But overall, free trade is gonna, that's the way it's gonna be in the future. I mean, that's.
Wait, what was the U.S.'s role in the Asian trade agreement that you were just describing?
These goddamn
We're gonna be consumers, as we usually are.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
We're gonna be consumers as we already are, but I think that the goal there is to consume less from China. That's what we're doing the agreement with everybody else.
So this was an agreement amongst Americans to buy from certain Asian countries not named China. Is that what you're saying?
That's part of it. Yeah, kind of. That's pretty much what I took from it.
So we're setting up trade agreements with countries in Asia other than China. Is what it boils down to?
That's correct, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, like all countries have tariffs and things like that. When if you want to buy a car from another country or buy soap from another country, there's a tariff. The free trade agreement basically gets rid of tariffs. That's basically all it is.
I'm sure it's a little more than that. But the thing go ahead.
Basically, generally, in a broad stroke, That's what it is. It just gets rid of tariffs.
Yeah, but what doesn't do it doesn't safeguard against money manipulations. So they can always keep their currency higher, so that it's cheaper for them to, or cheaper for us to import their stuff and actually give them jobs instead of just doing it over here
I
and
mean,
give us jobs.
that's already happening anyways.
Yeah, but that's what they're trying to avoid happening with this one as well. So
Well, I mean, the law. I mean, it can always change. I mean, that's the nature of these bills and trade
listen,
agreements.
man, I thought about that too. Like, yeah, pass it through and we can change it after. But if you're gonna pass it right.
It sounds like they're just trying to lessen their dependency on importing from China.
No, I agree. That's the ultimate goal. But the side goals are all there's like a million goals in that thing.
That's real. But the one thing about free trade though is good in certain situations. But the thing about free trade is that in its purest form, free trade is not really, I don't want to say fair or free or equal, but it's not. And the thing that ends up happening is you have the same imbalances just from a corporate level. So the biggest corporations and the biggest companies or organizations certainly become like de facto governments under free trade. Not de facto governments, but they start to influence policy and influence the market more because they have more resources, they have more market share, they have more capital than the little guy. So when free trade, and that's why smaller countries are not really supposed to they like smaller countries, instead of negotiating with countries like the U.S., they should be like countries in Africa and countries in South America, and that's how you build up your economy. You negotiate with economies that are on your level rather than negotiating with much bigger economies in free trade, because in free trade, they're going to overwhelm you.
Well, a lot of these.
It's very good that you brought up the corporations, because one thing that I forgot to mention that I also read was the fact that one of the things that made them want to vote no was the fact that it opens up the U.S. to be sued by corporations. Say, for instance, you say, okay, you can't fish in this area because we're going to protect this land. The corporation can sue the U.S. and say, no, we got to fish there for our profits, and that lawsuit would get decided by a corporate lawyer instead of by like a judge or something. So that's another thing, a provision that wasn't in there, or that is in there, that made them want to vote against it. I mean, yes, as it's written from the people that have read it, the few people that have read it, it just seems like it's not very good for us. Not very beneficial for us. I mean, there's nothing wrong with free trade deals inherently. I mean, you just gotta do them right.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, there has to be some rationale to why they would even suggest doing it in the first place, and why it's viewed as such a big deal.
Niggas getting kickbacks.
They want to get off China's titty. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, we already do a lot of trade with Japan. We already do a lot of trade with Philippines. I'm sure Vietnam was in on it. All these countries are countries that we trade on a massive scale with. So
then what's the point?
Nah, but we're ODing with we absorb a lot of goods from China. Like, you flip over half the shit in your crib right now, it says made in China.
Yeah, maybe we want to trade more with a region that we have more control over.
That's exactly what we want to do. Well, look, you got to remember, they see the game. I hate to keep coming back to it, but the game of global politics, man, is played on a level that none of us are really playing on. They're playing this shit out 3, 4, 5, 6 moves ahead. This is about the U.S. and China. This is about economic power. This is about economic policy, and this is all a chess game. And we're looking at it from our certain vantage point, but there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we realize.
Hey, I'm gonna quote Elizabeth Warren. She said, "This county is real trouble. The game is rigged, and we're running out of time. We cannot continue to run this country for the top 10%. We can't keep pushing through trade deals that benefit multinational companies at the expense of the workers." I think a lot of people were a lot more outsourcing, and I'm reading from the Guardian. It says it's going to hurt the middle class. So,
I mean, well, they're two separate things. I mean, you can do both. Maybe Miss Warren doesn't understand that.
You can do both what?
You can do things that help internally, domestically, and you can also do things that are beneficial for the entire country as far as trade agreements go.
Yeah, but free trade in the hands of the elitists is not going to do two good things. They're going to do what's good for the elitists.
honestly, what bugs me about free trade is that we don't. I mean, what do we do here, yo? We don't. What are we sending them?
No, we make a lot of shit in the
What do
U.S.
we
Like
do?
compared, no, wait. Compared to not compared to what we used to do, but compared to other countries, we're still a heavy player when it comes to like making shit, manufacturing shit, and being an economic world power for a number of reasons. Just because we have a bigger capacity than everybody else. But what I'm saying is that free trade in the hands of the I hate the elitists or whatever name you want to put to it is at a disadvantage. Free trade amongst people who are mutually interested in economic cooperation and benefit, as in the community economics and even the national economics, those kinds of free trade agreements are beneficial. But when if you have a superpower and then you have a little guy and they engage in free trade, the superpower is going to eat the little guy every single time, especially if there is no moral basis to what's happening.
You know what you just made me think of? You made me think of the fact that, yeah, this is a free trade agreement, and we're discussing it as, U.S. trading with Asian countries, but really it's not that, man. I'm thinking, really, it's Kraft being able to sell their cheese in the Philippines without paying some tax or something. That's really what it is.
That's one side to it. The other side to it is if I want to get my shit made in another country and then sell it in the U.S., instead of paying a U.S. worker that's probably backed by some kind of union 10, 12, 15, 20, $25 an hour to make my shit, I can make my shit in fucking wherever in over in the Pacific for like 1/100th, 1/1000th, 1/10,000th of that price and flip that shit in the U.S. and there's no law that's going to stop it because the government is in on it.
But how's that gonna benefit our people here?
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't benefit the people here. But that's what's happening right now, and that's what when you're talking about like these trade agreements between countries, part of the harm that comes with allowing certain companies or U.S. companies to make stuff overseas is that they get to cut out the people that would be making the stuff over here is the so-called middle class that we're talking about, which is depreciating. Those would be the people that would be making the products that we would be purchasing, but instead they're outsourcing that to somebody that's going to make it for 1/100th of the price, and then they can in return make 1/80th of the make a significant profit on it, and the rest is history.
What does the middle class make again?
I mean, that varies, but the point is if you're working a 40-hour-a-week job, put it like this: if you're
household income between 30 and 50,000.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
It's a lot higher than that now.
I'm asking what they actually physically create.
Oh, that we don't do.
Any product that we consume. Look at every single thing in your house. Everything you're seeing in your house was manufactured somewhere else and shipped to the United States to sell, and then that's how you got it. And so it's just a matter of taking that production process, which is where a lot of the value is created in the manufacturing process. When you take something from a raw material and turn it into a finished product, you instead of having that process be in Asia somewhere where they're making all the money, but they don't even make all the money because then they don't pay them shit either.
Real quick, let's do a quick poll. All right, what industry do we all work in? I work in banking.
Education.
I work in pharma, but it's primarily IT.
Okay.
What's IS?
Information services.
Okay.
Property development.
Engineering.
What kind of engineering?
Electrical.
Okay.
But
so it seems to me like none of us are making.
I want to hear where was he going with that? Hold on.
My point is that you asked what the middle class here is making. None of us are making shit. We're all working in industries that we mess with things, but we're not creating anything. You know what I'm saying?
I create things.
Yeah, the construction guy. I mean the.
Yeah, but that's 7 motherfuckers on a podcast. I'm talking about the 300 and some odd million people that live in the U.S. You know what I mean? Manufacturing the shit that we buy and sell is a big part of the economy. Is the point I'm getting at. And when you outsource that manufacturing aspect to another country, and then bring back the finished product, there's no money to be made. There's only money to be spent, and that's why we're in debt. We're not making the money because the process is not in the U.S. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
I mean, I guess the fact is, I mean, all of those skilled laborers that, were our parents' age or, the generation before them, I mean, those jobs weren't recreated and there weren't skilled laborers that took on that passion to go into it.
That could be a part of it, but when you make it easy for corporations to say when you make it easy for corporations to take their business to other countries, of course a corporation is only worried about the bottom line and profit. If you got a business and I'm gonna say, okay, you can make this computer for you can make this computer for $800 here in the US or $600 here in the US, or you can make that shit for $100 over in Taiwan and pay another 50 to get it shipped over here. As a corporation with profit as your only bottom line, which choice are you gonna choose? It's a no-brainer. But that's where the government is supposed to step in and say, okay, if you want to sell this shit in the U.S., then you have to make the shit in the U.S. And if you want to get it made over in Taiwan and then ship it back over here, like the brother was saying earlier, I'm gonna put a tax on that shit, and it's gonna cost you 1,000 times more to bring that shit back into the country than if you make it here. So it doesn't even make it economically viable if you don't want to take it to the U.S. That's how you know the government is in on it, because they've shaped the laws so that the shit can be made overseas.
Yeah, but I mean, all this fell out. I mean, we're talking about 40 years ago. All the stuff that you're talking about doing ended in like the 80s.
What do you mean the stuff that I'm talking about doing?
Like the auto industry, textiles, General Electric.
First of all, no disrespect.
Yeah, he's got a point. There's no going back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're moving towards globalization. I mean, I don't know why nobody wants just to say it. I mean, that's the way the world is going. So, I mean, how is the process going to be less painful to us? Is probably I guess the best question.
The fact is, it's not just old school shit that we're making. When we were talking about on the other podcast, Apple, Microsoft, all these computer companies, technology companies, even our more advanced industries are housing manufacturing plants overseas. So this is not something where, like I said, where we're making fucking wooden furniture. This is the past, this is the present, and the future. Manufacturing is how you can generate a lot of revenue for your economy, period. So when you think of manufacturing, just think of finished goods that you're buying. It can be electronics, it can be furniture, it can be anything, a grocery store, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, if it's made somewhere else, then somebody else is getting the money and we're not getting the money. And we're not getting the money.
I mean, yeah, there is a lot of tech stuff going on, and I mean, there is tech production and microchip production within the country, but those type of jobs aren't the type of jobs that skilled labor has traditionally had in the past. And what we're talking about, employing people on a massive scale, that's totally separate.
It's not totally separate. You got motherfuckers doing this shit right now they're doing the same job. Hold on, check it. The same exact job that is taking place in a factory in China, you're telling me that we don't have the skilled workforce to do that here in the US? What?
They're a different set of labor. The people who do that, they're completely separate from, the millions of people and the millions of, not to put people into a class, but the people who would have done that traditionally in America, who are unemployed on a massive scale because there aren't those type of jobs. There isn't that type of education. Yeah, you could bring all those jobs here to America that you're talking about in China, where they pay people pennies, but on the scale that would be necessary to involve the American populace to create some middle class. I mean, no one's going to pay all those people 40 or 70 grand a year to do that shit.
But you that's what you have to do. You have to force them. You have to force them. You have to.
How do you force independent companies to do that?
Let me break it down. Let me break it down. Because if you want the national economy to succeed, you have to set up certain economic variables, and one of those things is you have to produce things in your country. You have to produce things in your country to be bought and sold in your country. If you outsource that, then you sacrifice the integrity, the economic integrity, which is the social and political integrity of your country. So you do it for the good of the country. I use the same example. When they were trying to build this country up, when they were trying to build England up, when they were trying to build France up, or whatever the case may be, any major economic power, when you're trying to build it up, you protect the local industries and you set the stage for them to thrive. And what we've done is, since we've become such a major power, now we have become ran by the corporations, and it's not about the country anymore, it's about the corporation. And so now the corporations are setting the laws, which is why it's so easy for corporations to make money and cut out the manufacturing. The corporations are making the money. Because I'm gonna stop in a second, but I just really want to get this across, because we're outsourcing it to the other country, but we're not paying them shit either. We're not paying our own people. We're not paying the other people's shit. We're soaking in all the profit at the top level, executive level of these corporations. We're producing fucking Nikes for 89 cents over in Taiwan, selling them for 150 over here. We're making computers over in fucking China for $100, $150, selling them for 1,400 over here. And the top executives at Apple make that shit. When that could be, but what it needs to be, and don't get scared by this, Dad, is a redistribution of that wealth, because the people up in the upper echelons, the people up in the upper echelons do not deserve. They do not deserve the amount of effort and work that they're putting in does not equal the amount that they're getting back. They're getting back way more than they deserve, and that's where we're breaking down. I'm done.
You're pure un-American.
Yeah.
Standing ovation.
I mean, okay, look.
I don't disagree. I actually agree with that. So I mean, I understand.
No, it is true that America represents an extreme of capitalism. Like, it represents the negative side of capitalism, the way, you know, the way how powerful the corporations have become. But yeah, I mean, the solution is to tax them more. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with Apple. No, there's nothing wrong with Apple making billions of dollars, as long as they're taxed correctly, and like they're paying taxes. So that's because of their power. But at the end of the day, you need free trade. You know, I mean, there's no
Their power. These are. Whew. Whew. No,
No, I mean,
please continue.
Apple does avoid paying taxes. I mean,
Who doesn't? Every corporation does.
Yeah, but it's an extreme.
But just real quick, it's even bigger than the taxes. It's about Apple. Who buys the majority of Apple products? We do. Americans do. So if you are making the majority of your profit off the American people, then you need to be giving. There needs to be a reciprocation there. You can't just cut out the American people, the thousands, hundreds of thousands of middle class people that you could be employing full time. You would have to pay them a little more, which means your executives would make a little less, but you would still make the same amount of money. You can't just cut the same people out that you're feeding off of.
And you can't put a gun to a company's head and tell them to do that either.
The fucking government can. The fucking government can. The government can, they have, and they should, because it's not up to, I expect corporations to wild the fuck out. I expect corporations to be blood-sucking vultures. That's what they're bred to do in this Western capitalist system. That's what they're bred to do. It is up to the governing forces to regulate that shit. But when you have the government in bed with the corporations, what you really just have is fascism, which is one big corporation, which is what you see in front of you.
Whoa. So what we really have is fascism, not capitalism. Continue. All right. Now I'm with you. Go on. I'm listening now.
I'm done. That was it. That's what I've been saying this whole time. The corporations are running the government, which is why the regulations are not working. Or no, actually the regulations are working perfectly. They're working in favor of the corporations. So what you're looking at is the United States as one big-ass corporation broken up into several factions of separate, smaller corporations. And that's what the fuck we have.
It don't matter the title of the podcast. You come to the same thing.
That's why talking about capitalism. Like, I'm never gonna make the topic capitalism. It's always gonna be the topic. Like, never gonna have to make that the topic.
But my point with Apple is nobody's forcing the American public to buy Apple. They do it on their own free will.
Actually,
Come
Microsoft
on,
is
man.
forcing you to buy Apple.
But Microsoft makes their shit overseas too. That's what I'm saying. Just because I give you 4 or 5 choices does not mean mean you have free choice, bruh.
There's no such thing as free choice.
There's control choice. There's control choice. That's what it is. So if you don't buy Apple, if you don't buy Microsoft, if you don't buy the 5 top 6, 7 technology companies, you just eliminated fucking 80% of the market. You're gonna have to find your shit on fucking I don't even know where. They don't even sell that shit in
Build
Best
your own computer, slap on Ubuntu or Linux, and you be rocking.
But then you're talking about considerably downsizing the accessibility to because Apple owns the market, Microsoft owns the market. Fucking whoever you just named, I heard them before, but they don't fucking own the market,
Yeah,
and they
man.
can't and they can't get it out to
Free choice.
people. They can't get it out to people like they can. So then you're talking about only a certain percentage of the population can access the technology. That's not what we want either. Let's do it the way we're fucking supposed to do it. The fucking government needs the fucking government needs to tell Apple, listen, if you want to make hundreds of billions of dollars off the American people, then you need to make sure that you're bringing that manufacturing process here at home so that the American people can eat too, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I
don't see it happening.
I mean, they just got rid of some of the loopholes for them to do all their banking overseas and to leave their money overseas. I mean, as far as forcing them to create manufacturing and stuff, I don't think
Yeah, that's just not the
hard to do that.
I mean, through legislation they can't do it. I mean, is it prudent? I mean, I don't know.
Already done it. We've already done it. That's how we built our economy. That's how England. Please go back and research this. This is how England built their economy. This is how we built our economy. We protected the sectors that we wanted to thrive. We gave them subsidies. We gave them tax breaks. We gave them land if they needed. We gave them all kind of wild shit. Not only that, but we set up the laws so that it made it not even conscionable for them to try to sell their shit or get their raw materials from anywhere outside the country.
I mean, France believes in protectionism, and they're not doing too great.
Ooh.
I mean,
France.
Good old France.
all countries did that.
Shaking
But
my
not
fucking
all
head.
I'm talking about today.
It's the same principles, bruh. It's the same principles. The economic principles, they've evolved. Look. The economic principles have evolved to involve different products, but the nature of manufacturing goods and services and the product of supply and demand is the same. It was horses and carriages in the fucking 1900s. Now it's fucking cars and computers. It's the same shit. It's manufacturing.
Look, man, the only one here that disagrees with you is Dad, and he ain't saying nothing but laughing.
No, I'm letting it rock, man. This is good stuff.
You act like Apple don't employ nobody in the United States, though, man.
Who the fuck said that? I didn't say that. I said that they have a significant number. Not even tech. It's not even about tech. It's about technology companies because that's the wave that's going to ride until infinity. But I'm saying there's a number of key sectors that have manufacturing plants outside of the U.S. And right now, we currently have a middle class that is in crisis. Not only that, we have a lower class, a working class that has been in crisis. So if at the very minimum, even if it's not the cure-all, you're telling me bringing 1 million, 2 million, 3 million jobs that are going to pay a significant amount of money just because it takes a little bit of money out of executives' pockets, we shouldn't bring them back over here just because it's not going to be the fucking cure-all? It'll get us a long fucking way.
I got a real quick story for you. I had training today, right? I do software testing, and there was 20 people in the class. There was out of those 20, 10 were female. So get that out the way. But the rest, there was at least 12 were Indian. So the jobs are here. If you just got to educate the populace. These guys come over. There's plenty of Indians come over here and take these jobs. You know why? Because the companies can't find no Americans to do the job because they're just not smart enough. It's that simple. The
Ooh,
jobs are plenty of
I
jobs
don't know
here.
about that. You're bringing up a different aspect of the conversation, which is a related aspect. It's definitely related, and it's very true. And that is that there's an influx of people who I guess we can call them immigrants, even though I feel like that has a negative stigma. But they come over here, they hustle hard, they get what they can get, they manufacture, they entrepreneur, they get jobs where they can get them, and that's a fact. I'm not disputing that, and that's related to what I'm saying. But that's not exactly what
It's
I'm
not
saying.
that they come over here and they hustle hard, man. And that sector, they're over there learning that shit, and they come over here and make the money. Like these Indians, they learn that stuff from over there, man.
So
They're human beings just like us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like they got some magic school over in India. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on,
No,
let me just
but it's no magic school, but they have like they have an emphasis on it over
there
here.
are people too, you know.
No, the education in this country is shit compared to the rest of the world. They don't call people dumb Americans enough. It didn't come out.
It's definitely shit. It's definitely shit. But are you telling me we wouldn't be better off with if we said, even if we just said, look, let's bring 75% of the jobs that are currently being outsourced, 75%, we bring them back to the U.S. Are you telling me there's not going to be a significant improvement in the quality of life for Americans across the board, all social classes? You're bugging.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Hold on. So your answer to failed legislation and failed regulations is more regulation and more legislation.
No. I think that we need to. I think that my solution is very clear. We need to
Government.
Yes, we need to no. We need to make sure the government. We need to make sure the government is acting right because they're the
make sure the government is acting right. Why didn't you say so?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because you can't. Because if you eliminate the government and you just leave it up to the corporations, then you're talking about the wild, wild west, bro. You gonna have the Walmart version of Blackwater running down on your house, running all your shit. You're gonna be in a fucking be in a FEMA camp by midnight.
As opposed to what we have now, where the corporations are already running government, right?
Yeah, but overtly and covertly are two very different things. If you
Are they really? I mean, really?
Yes.
I mean, are they?
Because right now, at least we're living. You know what I'm saying? We're living, we're breathing, we're there's at least some semblance.
Oh, they're gonna start killing people.
Structure.
Oh, okay, all right, go on.
I'm talking, man. You if you want to see anarchy, hold on. If you want to see real anarchy, let the corporations take over, bro. Because then it's everybody for themselves. If the corporations take over, it's everybody for themselves, and that's
so they haven't already taken over, is what you're saying.
They are heavily influencing, yes, but they're doing it. They have to do it in a way that doesn't piss people off too much, and they're trying to do it incrementally, which is why you see.
And you think without government control, they wouldn't have to worry about pleasing consumers.
They wouldn't even have to. They wouldn't have to worry about shit. It would just be about who got the biggest military force, who's got the biggest money, who got the most money, who got the most influence, who got the most resources. Everybody else got to lay the fuck down.
So without government, the corporations would be able to fend off China by themselves. That's what you're saying. Interesting.
That is not what the fuck I said.
I'm just saying, you're making it seem like the government.
That is not what the fuck I said.
I'm just saying, government has a function, but let's get back to the original point.
What y'all bitches talking about?
But you think more legislation and more regulation, or as I'm sure
why do you keep
better regulation or working regulation?
No. Most of the put like a couple of we definitely need to change a few laws. That's without a doubt. But the majority.
All right, let me take it real slow. Do you think there should be regulation to fix what's going on now?
Yes.
Okay, so your answer is regulation, like I said. All right.
But you're trying to do this black white like no gray area type shit, and it's not.
Okay, all right. Let's see.
It doesn't fit into that box.
All right. Is there going to be legislation or not? Is there going to be paperwork or not?
But Dad, what's wrong with that, Dad? What's wrong with that?
Dad, Walmart gonna come take your shit.
Walmart's gonna come take my shit.
Goldman Sachs gonna come take your shit if the motherfucking government wasn't stopping them. You better believe that.
All right. Let me get this. What evidence? Let me just ask you this. Let me just throw this out there. What evidence do you have that today's businesses are going to come ransack your house if there's no state?
That's a good point. Maybe I was exaggerating, but the point is they would drive. I was trying to make a point. Listen, I'll admit to exaggerating. I got no problem with that. My point is that if you let corporations take over, they're gonna drive the course that we're on. They're gonna drive society to the breaking point because they don't give a fuck about.
All right. Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there.
Anything at all.
Let me stop you there. Do you really think it's in the interest of rich people and corporations, however you want to term it, to have no working class, no lower class, and to push society to the brink where we rebel?
You know what? They don't.
You think that's actually how they want it to work?
Look. I'm gonna tell you this: the rich people that you're describing do not even have a concept of what you just said. They would be like, they'd be like, no working class. What the fuck does that mean? There's always gonna be the niggers. There's always gonna be the Mexicans. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be the Africans, and if we don't, we can go fucking import them. You know what I'm saying? They are not worried about a fucking working class at all.
Well, I'll give you that. CACs are gonna CAC, that's for sure.
CACs will fucking CAC, and they are not worried. And the point is, if they were worried about it, they would stop doing the dumb shit they're doing because they're pushing society to the point, and they're not even being subtle with it at all. They're just blatantly violating, and it's gonna come to a head.
But we're not losing workers in the middle and lower class. We're gaining them. So.
Oh, stop the madness. Stop the madness.
We are.
We're gaining them. Like, yeah, we might be compressing the wages and breaking people's back, but we're just making people more desperate for jobs, which is the whole point.
So if you're compressing wages, at what point does that not even count to be fucking what you would consider middle class or working class anymore? If you keep compressing,
that's not what he's saying. He's saying that you're confusing wages with flesh and blood human beings. We're actually gaining more workers.
Yeah,
but
there's
the middle class or the income level
workers,
is actually shrinking.
And their profit margin is increasing. That's the incentive to keep it at keep some carrot out front of them, carrot on a stick situation, without breaking it completely. Because I think these rich people, you say they have no concept, but I strongly believe they know they can't afford to lose
they know exactly
the breakback working class, and they're going to keep them. But they're going to keep them.
But they feel like that supply is unlimited, though. They really do.
I do agree with the idea that you can import them, and there's a whole country to our south that people would fight and clamor to get over here. So I can't disagree with that, but I don't think there's a disconnect in the understanding of the importance. There's a disconnect in the understanding of the conditions and the cruelty of it. But who fucking cares at that level? As Homeboy says, I'm not gonna say CAC's gonna CAC, but rich people are gonna rich, and that's just gonna continue. Like, they're always gonna push it to the limit and compress the wages.
So according to your logic, if rich people are also always gonna push it to the limit, we need some regulations in place to keep their ass in check.
Okay.
We need some shit in place.
Hold on.
We motherfuckers with the money in check.
So we need regulations written by rich people for rich people. That's interesting.
Now, who said that? Where do you get this shit from? Who said that?
That's how it actually happens in practice. I mean, that's what happens. Politicians.
But that's not what we need. I'm not saying that's what we need, though.
For rich people.
Yo, but listen. Why would you want regulation? I just gave you a viable alternative. Viable alternative is to higher educate your own populace so they can fill these high-tech jobs that the world is going towards. But you want to do
you can't force the corporations to keep the jobs over here. So if the jobs are overseas, how much does it matter if we're educated or not? I know plenty of motherfuckers with master's degrees and bachelor's degrees that don't even have a job right now.
What degree are they in? What field are they in? A lot of people is getting these master's degrees in fields and they ain't gonna get no job.
Lots of fields, bro.
For real.
No, for real. I'm saying lots of fields. Every field. There's more.
Sometimes you got. I mean, I know everybody got a dream. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. But you got to work with your surroundings. How the world is today. If the world today needs nurses or such and such, hey, that's what you got to get a degree in and suck it up and get that paper. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but I think you're overestimating the ability of education to change this whole thing. We can't just in the sense that the kind of education, maybe a political education would solve the problem, but the kind of education you're talking about, where like, oh, if we just teach our people to do like the immigrants do, like we'll all be all good. It doesn't matter if the corporations are still running rampant and they're still doing what the fuck they want to do, and they're still making the laws, and they're still controlling the government, and they're still controlling policy. Then the common person is going to continue to get squeezed out.
But college is affordable. We can all get educated easily, right?
No.
In New York, college is affordable.
Yeah. I agree.
I was being sarcastic. I'm just trying to throw another problem into the pot of the solution.
Well,
Educate your own populace. And,
Yeah, but wasn't Obama going to try to make a community
It is
college?
worth pointing out
Yeah,
that
2
education.
years.
That happened. That
It
happened.
is worth
did
pointing
happen?
out that education's
It
run by
did.
the state too. Just saying.
You mean I can go to community college for free?
First
And
team.
you've been able to do that, and that's been there in quite a few states. And let's talk about the economic turnaround in those states.
I mean,
You
but
guys are trolling me, man. It didn't go through.
I don't know. I don't think Obama's went through, but and I forget what states. Tennessee and I don't know, 1 or 2 states, 3 states. They've done the same thing to try to get a little bit of stimulus. And I don't know that it's been in long enough, but I don't think the results are very obvious.
But if you pissing in the wind, you're still gonna get wet. You know what I mean? That has to be one change amongst many.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying that's the only thing. Definitely the high schools and stuff. All the curriculums need to change, but that's just one. That's just one part of the solution.
They don't
Well,
need
actually, they're all the same part. Actually, regulation, education, it's actually all government. To be honest, it's only one part. I'm just saying.
Can we separate state government from federal government in this conversation, or is it the same
No,
thing?
absolutely not. It's all the same.
Oh,
I don't understand that. I'm not
with
okay,
that.
sure. What do you have against
It's all the same. It's all the same.
Oh boy.
I don't know about that state government in Baltimore, boy.
All right, y'all need to chill. I'm actually.
Was she twerking on stage? Did Prince? I know Prince brought her on stage. Was she twerking?
I don't know.
I saw something on the internet. They were supposed to be a video of her twerking, but I didn't see it though.
Who now?
Who's working?
The district,
Mosby, the state attorney.
prosecutor? The
You guys didn't hear about that? Prince?
No.
She was at the concert and he brought her up on stage, man.
I gotta see the video. I'm googling it now.
No, it was.
I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
Recently or in the past?
Recently, like this.
No, look.
It doesn't even matter. It can't
Like a
even
week ago,
surface.
man.
Oh, please, Allah, Jesus, Buddha, please, no.
The
No,
interesting.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
was
God.
her and her
I
husband.
should.
It was her and her husband that came on stage.
Okay.
They were dancing or whatever. I should say this. I'm just a couple miles outside of Baltimore. When this was going on, the conversation was live. Like I have a really diverse group of friends and groups of friends, and the conversation was crazy. Like, I
That's a
mean,
way to say it. Nice, cool way of saying I got white friends. But go on.
Man, let him finish.
I knew you were gonna say that, but I'm trying to respond to that bullshit. So I
He
have
couldn't have Indian
I mean,
friends.
these are-
He couldn't have Mexican
Yeah.
friends. They had to.
I
You
these are
can't know a
people-
couple Asians in that motherfucker?
These are
Come on, Dad.
a lot of folks who just like are from just a different, like the Midwest, like just a different type of world altogether. And the conversation was crazy. I mean, there was a lot of missing the point, but they were trying. And what I noticed was, so I don't know, this happened however many weeks ago, and then there was a curfew on the weekend, and by the end of that following week, like nobody's talking about it anymore. Like it's like I've been trying to tell people this is exactly the problem. The shit was on the news, it was a big deal, but you're just going about your business, eating your designer ice cream in the same neighborhoods that were getting burned down, and saying shit like I'm glad everything's calmed down, but nothing has been fixed. So it's
Right.
so it kind of goes to show like something we always talk about in here. I know I came in mad late. We always talk about is like there's the gradual changes don't really seem to be working, and we basically need revolutionary level shit because that was us not statewide, but a citywide curfew, riot, state of emergency. A week later, designer ice cream, sitting outside with my shoes off, tanning. Like what?
What do you want to happen, man? I mean, that's just going to change gradually. Now we're going to trial. Now everybody's on edge about police brutality. So now they treat the people better. It's little by little, man. But you want to take out all the cops and put in all new cops by tomorrow?
No,
you
see,
gotta-
I mean,
you
I
gotta
understand
have
what you're
vacation.
saying, and I was actually like in several of these conversations. I'm like, we can't just be revolutionaries, but I'm starting to see. I'm not necessarily starting to think we need to go blow shit up, but I'm starting to see what people like, just how quickly the shit fades, like how quickly the awareness turns into just, oh, I'm glad it's over. It's like, well, nothing is actually over. It's just people aren't burning down CVS's.
It's been like that for the longest, though.
Yeah, but
What's wrong with
what do
people
you
stopping?
like what do you expect them to do? I don't know. Like, so what if it's not their job to care? You know? Like
No,
those.
I'm saying it's not. It's not that it's over. It's not over. It's just a pause in the action. Like there's nothing to get
Yeah, he's right.
It's about.
Once the trial jumps back up, I mean, even though this trial in the big scheme of things is going to be good for a moral victory for one side or the other, but in the scheme of things, it's not really going to change shit. But we'll hear more about it once the trial kicks back up.
It looks like they're bucking up in Minneapolis right now.
Yeah.
It looks like a.
Hold up. The real question we need to be asking though, did you find the twerking video and can you share screen that bitch?
I'm looking for it right now.
Worst people on the
All the
planet.
sites are talking about it. Oh, I'm gonna share it when I find it.
Nah, just stop. There is no twerking video.
I mean, if she was twerking with her husband, that's your boo. You can do that.
You can do that if you're not with your husband. She was at a concert. She can do the fuck she wants. It just so happens she's the public. I don't know if she did it while she was the attorney.
You can do what the fuck you want, but man, you
can't do what you want when you going out white folks.
You the black face of justice right now.
But is this something that she did that they dug up, or is this something that she like went to the Drake concert?
It was like it was a concert. Prince did like a promotional concert for the people of Baltimore, like while the protest. I mean, it's political.
Show. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, well that's just a bad situation.
It's a bad PR move, man.
I don't know. I don't know if she should have went out there in the first place. That's kind of.
Yeah, it's risky to go up with an artist because the artist fuck around, say something Kanye-esque, and have you looking real stupid on stage.
Yeah, you really just gotta realize there's more at stake than just like you're not you right now. Like you represent other people, you represent a cause right now, and she really is. Because as soon as she came on the steps of wherever she was at and gave that speech with her little swag and announced all those charges, she became the face of this movement in Baltimore for justice. In whatever degree they can try to get it. You can't get caught on stage fucking twerking now. Damn, boo.
No, that is not true.
But let me not jump to conclusions because if I don't see the video,
Come on, man.
if I don't see the video, that shit didn't happen.
There is no video. I would have seen it.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Like, how did I miss that? No, I would have seen the video.
All right, then, boo, you good? You can come back home tonight, boo. We all right. We straight.
Hey, what do you guys think about that? The guy in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, that Tony Robinson guy. The cops just he came out it was yesterday. He said they weren't going to press charges on him.
Was it the naked guy? The guy who was naked or something?
Well, did he get butt naked, or was he the guy with the sword? I thought he was the guy with the sword.
Different. This is the guy. He was like throwing rocks in the road or something random.
What?
I had to look into it again because it was fucking out there.
You guys don't know. Am I the only Coli Middleton holding it down, man? Following all these police brutalities across the country?
No, I mean, I heard about it, but it was just like, oh, it's another one.
You talking about homeboy that was losing his shit?
What was the story? What was the story?
I'd have to look. He's the biracial kid. His mom's been on the TV. His mom is.
So wait. So is this a black issue or not? Should we just get past
it? See, now is that part of the reason nobody's really upset about it?
That's what it is. Light skinned niggas get no love.
Oh man.
What about Malcolm?
No, the Twitter activists
if you light skinned, it's not police brutality.
No, see, the Twitter activists are on it.
You gotta pass the brown bag test for it to be police brutality.
I know he was unarmed, but he was like.
Nah, but for real, what happened?
I think he was throwing rocks by like a highway or a road or some shit. Not a highway, like a street. And he went back to his house. I guess he was a little bit mentally unstable maybe or something. It was not very clear. Anyways, the cops burst in the house and killed the kid or something like that.
Damn.
Oh man, hold on, let me look it up. He was high, man.
Yeah. I don't know if he was high or not, but
no, I know for a fact he was high. He had Xanax, weed, and something else.
So he deserved to die then.
No. There you go. You're throwing the bait out there. I'm not even gonna. See, I don't know if that would have affected him how he approached the officer. That's the main reason I'm saying.
I mean, I get kind of, I don't really act out when I'm high on weed or Xanax.
When was the last time you were on weed and Xanax?
Right now.
Oh,
10 minutes before the podcast.
I mean, it's not like he was smoking PCP or something, guys.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was he was on shrooms and THC.
All right, so still.
What do you mean on from THC? Like,
Time out. You don't get to say okay. All right, still. I'm not saying he was wilding, but you don't just get to decide he wasn't wilding when he was on shrooms or rocks on the side of the road. Now I don't know that he deserved anything he got. But still isn't exactly the best case in court or conversation.
It says
I mean, I think there's an abusive force in this country that's we can't downplay. I mean, whether they're using a taser or they're using their fists or a baton or their car or a gun. I
don't think anybody in here disagrees with that.
Yeah,
There's something to get into an uproar about with that situation. I was watching Cops the other day, and this dude pulled over this white man, and the white man supposedly had borrowed his mom's car, but his mom reported it stolen. So obviously he gets pulled over because it's a stolen vehicle. And the cop ready to shoot this dude, man. But you know what the guy did? Everything the cop said. He didn't get shot. He ain't crazy.
What'd he do? What'd he do?
Everything the cop said. Stand up, put your arms up, lay down, spread out, all that shit.
Nah, fuck that.
So what's your point?
Hold up. Now I know for 100% fact you definitely white. Cause ain't no way you saying fuck that. I hate to say it, man. When the police you just can't do it, man. You just can't play with your life. And I hate to say it's not being a punk, it's just being smart. Like, you know what, they have the advantage, they have the upper hand. No matter how turned up you want to take it, they can always turn it up higher.
Yeah,
it's just a
they're
fact
gonna
of
do
life.
what they're gonna do regardless, man.
That's not true.
Nah, hell nah, man. They're not gonna
But at the same time, I read another story this week about some white kid in Louisiana or somewhere, and the same type of situation where he took his parents' car or something.
Oh yeah, I read that. I heard
he got gunned down.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, but see, that's another thing. His dad called the cops, say he stole the car. They get him and they shoot him. Why? You see, it's 2015. If you call the cops on your kid and he come back in a casket, you'd have nobody to blame but your goddamn self.
I think that's fair.
The kid fucking up. I mean, when the cops tell you to pull over or put your arms up or whatever, just do that.
Yeah, but when you a young kid, you ain't thinking about that. You think about fucking
shot.
Yeah, but you young, so you stupid. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
if you that stupid, you deserve to die.
Oh, don't say that, Gonzo. I like you so much.
Fuck it.
Gonzo, you my man, $100,000. Don't say that, man. Come on, now, man. You gotta think smarter than that, man. It's more levels to it than that.
That's what I'm saying. He gotta think smarter than that, man.
See, in that situation, I think the truck was parked, but he wouldn't turn the truck off. So they told him to turn the truck off. But they were on the side of. They weren't in front of the truck. So I don't know if the truck lurched forward, but I don't know what happened. They let him have it.
Yeah, they say the same thing about Sean Bell.
Yo.
What happened with Sean Bell?
But we all know they don't need an excuse, man. And that's the whole point. They don't need an excuse. They really don't even need a reason.
A tiny excuse is what it is. They just a little bit of an excuse. Doesn't have to be a good one. That's why homeboy that shot old yo in the back, they abandoned him immediately. He didn't even have a little excuse. But if somebody said, "Oh, he turned around and he might have been charging at me," they got Kickstarters and GoFundMes to get this man out of jail and everything because there's a possible excuse, and that's all you need.
But you think if they didn't catch it on tape, they would have thrown old boy under the bus?
Nope.
Hell no.
Nope.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. Because there was that tape canceled out every possible little excuse. And that's all because you could is the other cop, even the black cop, looked like he was if that wasn't on video, I strongly believe that he wasn't gonna snitch on him.
Of course.
He didn't do his job either.
And we ain't out of the woods yet because we still have to see how much time he really gonna get. Like if he gets 15 months, that's not nothing.
He'll get 2 years, probation.
Oh my god.
Yo, you know what? I woke up this morning. You know what? I turned on YouTube, right? You know what I was watching? Remember that black Atlanta security guard 2 years back?
Yeah.
That was tearing people up. But see, everybody was watching that and thinking it was all funny. It was all entertainment and stuff like that. He was tased. I watched him tase a female. He tased another boy. The boy, I don't know what. Guy took 2 steps to him. He tased him. That was crazy.
Yo, listen, we about to set a new higher learning precedent, man. Anytime you talking about something, man, you gotta have the video ready on share screen, man. I don't even know what you're talking. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't remember the bull?
I know what you're talking about. No, I know exactly what you're saying. And I thought it was funny that everybody celebrated that dude, and he was out there fucking people up.
He was a fucking coon.
Yeah,
I mean, he was going hard on. Now, the whole encounters, people were trying him, and people were getting in his shit, and he was handling his business. But it was like he was a security guard, a black security guard in Atlanta. If he was a white security guard in anywhere else, we were like, "Oh, you can't be doing that. You know these people are aggressive. You need to chill." So I mean, that conversation. I mean, I think it's a conversation people should have, but it's not a conversation anybody wants to have. Because he was, I mean, everybody celebrated that dude. They loved him.
I know. You see the difference in how it is. I mean, of course, these kids are dying nowadays, but just not that long ago, that sort of thing was celebrated. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people were celebrating it.
No, people loved it. I mean,
people loved it.
I don't know.
No, people. I mean, yes, on World Star, but nobody was nobody was mad about it. It was a big. People were going to Atlanta to meet the dude. He couldn't do his job because everybody was showing up. It was on World Star, whatever. But there was no news stories like this dude is like he tased the mother of 4 in front of her kids because she popped off at the lip.
Well, there should have been. I don't know if a black cop shoots down a black kid for no fucking reason. I'm not gonna celebrate him.
Nah, he better fuck him up. But throw that motherfucker under the jail, under the mud.
Yeah, but the system does that anyways.
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, folks, it's been lovely.
Yep.
See you next week.
I came in at the good part. All right, good.
You missed the Oso show.
Yeah, you definitely missed that.
I've seen that episode a few
Listen, it was all truth, and if y'all want to go do some research and come back and dispute it next week, y'all know where to find me.
Peace.
Please.
All right, y'all.
Oh yeah.